Well, we could have gotten that table, new table.
Let me see how you look. A little more makeup over there under the eyes.
No, I'm black.
Okay,
Sinister.
there we are. It's times 3 again, and it's a beautiful Friday.
Another
And
beautiful Friday.
yeah, we made it back to Marco's Italian in West Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Well, actually, David, let's be honest. We didn't make it back. We slept over here at night. We still haven't found a place to live.
Well, that's good.
So we had to wait till the place opened up. And you know, interesting about this place that it opens with no people, closes with no people, and stays open with no people.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're people.
Yeah, well, I guess we're keeping it going. And if I'd been here 5 minutes earlier, I would have seen the illustrious Amy Sherman Palladino.
Yes, sir. On our way to find the answer on one of our pilots. 2 pilots the kids.
Can you imagine 2 pilots?
Yeah.
And your wife's birthday is today, right?
Today is my wife's birthday.
Should we sing happy birthday to her?
Well, it's her 15th birthday.
No, let's sing happy
I want
birthday
to wait
to her.
till she gets to be 20.
Sweet 16, you know.
So let's,
No,
let's sing
15
happy
years I've been
birthday
married.
to her so she'll watch the show, okay?
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nathan. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Well, there you are, Maven.
What a lovely wife you
Boy,
have.
that is such a difficult song to stand up in front of 20 people singing it to you.
Why?
I could stand up in 10,000 people in an arena, but it's 2 people or 3 people singing happy birthday. I said, when is it going to be over? When is it going to be?
Is that a bullseye right there?
What's that? No,
That's, I think, a parking indicator. Isn't
I
it?
just wanted to praise David for making me laugh today with his wonderful cartoon about the dog ordering the food and the guy saying, I can't remember, my wife came in and she laughed. It's always nice to wake up in the morning, have a nice laugh.
Yeah, just got to look at our blog, times3.blogspot.com, and you can see photos of Harry in different roles and photos of Don. And
Oh, he was a
this
strong-looking
is
guy.
what you're talking about.
No, this right here.
Be careful. I have a...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
I have
apologize.
a medical aid here. We need aid from the medical world, thank God.
Oh boy, we're all fragile, huh?
oh, thank goodness. So we have Romney Care and Obamacare, and
That's politics.
she cares, he cares, Care Bears.
I'm glad you're alive, Don. I'm glad you're alive,
Thank you.
David.
If I was alive, who would you do? If I wasn't alive, who would you talk to?
David,
You'd vote for
and
me.
I suppose David's not alive, who you talk to?
my wife.
Suppose you're the only man in the world, there's nobody to talk to, you'd really go nuts, right?
I'm nuts already.
Well, we included your wife on the blog.
Huh? Yeah, that was a nice picture. I love that picture. She doesn't like the picture, but I love it.
What does she like about it?
She just doesn't like it. Sometimes she doesn't feel she's photogenic, but she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful woman.
You know, you're talking about nuts. I always say I'm a nut in the bread of time.
Very nice, very poetic. Well, you're a poet.
I wrote that one time, and this woman who's a well-known American poet, she says, well, where's the adjectives? What type of nut are you? What type of bread is it? And I said, I don't use adjectives.
What type of nut is it? What type of bread is it?
Simplify your life, Mr. Don Sherman.
Oh, my life was so nice. I had such a night. I loved show business. I had just great
But
experiences.
you are. You still is.
I'll never forget once I was working in a nightclub. This is really a great story. You live this story. It was about the 60s. I was working in a club in New England called the Red Barn. It was me and a singer and a line of girls. And it was one of my probably one of my first nightclub jobs. And I went out there, and no, very few people did. There was maybe 3 people in the club, 4 people in the club. But there was an old guy drunk in the back. And after the show, the cook comes over to me and says, this gentleman would like to speak to you. So I go back there and I speak to this guy, and this old guy sitting there. He says, my name is Frankie Chiavelli, but they call me Skyball. And I drank too much. I'm a good customer here. Could you take a cab to drive me home in my car, and I'll give you money, take a cab home? I thought it was a rather strange request, but I went ahead and did it. And then the next day, the same night, and the whole week, he asked me to drive him. The last night, he says to me, he says, you're a nice boy, and you're a good comic, and you're going to have a great career. Just, wherever you go, if you have any trouble at all, just say Skyball. You know Skyball. That's all you have to say. And I said thank you, and we said goodbye, and I went off. And my manager, I told my manager stories. He says, never take anything from the boys, which was the mafia, really. Never take any suits or tuxedos or favors. Just want you to do a favor. They run your career. And I was very evasive of this fact. Time goes on, and now I'm playing cruise ships. It's maybe 15 years later. And I have a heckling bit that I do where I'm out in the audience. And somebody grabs me by the arm and he says, Skyball says hello. Oh, I didn't tell the big story. And I should. The big story was I opened up the Playboy Club in Miami, the opening show, first nightclub. And the owner hated me, the manager of the club. He made my life miserable, gave me a terrible room. There were no people in the audience, still made me do a show. And well, one day I got so desperate, I was feeling so bad, that I said to him, do you know Skyball? He looked at me straight in the eye and said, do you know Skyball? I said, yes. It disappears. That night I go home, I don't have that bad room. I got a suite and I'm overlooking Biscayne Boulevard, and I'm like a queen. What establishment I'm living in. And I come back and say, hey, there's not too many people in the club. We won't do a show. We won't do 2 shows. We'll push them both into 1 show. And it was a wonderful career. So I learned the strength of the word Skyball. Now 10 years go by and I'm in a nightgown on a ship and I'm working in the New York audience doing a heckling bit. God gives me by the arm and says, Skyball says hello. It was after 25 years. He was in jail.
Yeah, Skyball was in Sing Sing, I think.
And I had to send him a cassette of my act. And,
yeah.
And the guy told me he always followed my act. He's always with me. That's one of my boys. I said he was going to be good. He was going to be good.
I love that story. I wish you would have told that story to Chateau Marmont for your 50th.
Oh, I had so much I wanted to do. That's why I was so angry that people said you did so good.
Oh, you were great. I was just kidding. You did great.
Oh, if I would have told me and Nabin and Howard Baptist and the Jew finally get married, never happy marriage. What stories they have.
Is Skyball still alive?
Skyball's, yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, he's still around. I checked him out on Google.
Yes.
Skyball's still there. He's the man.
So his name is still good.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still use that.
In case anybody pushing you around anything, let me know.
Yeah, you're getting a bad room in a hotel in Vegas, just drop the old Skyball reference.
Every night at a certain time, dressed immaculately, drank the whole night by himself, got dead drunk, got taken home, went to sleep, got the next day.
This has nothing to do with the mob, but I was up for a picture called Hero years ago with Dustin Hoffman.
That has nothing to do with the mob?
And Stephen Frears was directing it, and I had to meet him like at 4 o'clock particular day.
Stephen Frears, the director?
And he had Scorsese had produced one of his films. So I called up Scorsese's office the day before and I said, I'm meeting, Frears, particular time tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Could Marty, I talked to the assistant, could he please recommend me to him? I gave him the info and the phone number, and I walked in the next day. I never met Stephen Frears, the great director, and he just praised me all the time, and I got the part in month's work. So I never knew if, he put the call through. I remember telling this to you and Judy says it pays to have friends in high places.
Oh, sure.
Sure does in this business.
No, sure. You got to be able to do it, but it's always good when people open the door a little bit for you too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's all about that.
Yeah.
Who do you know? Not always what you know. Who do you know?
It's like if they like you, it's like gift of gab is the whole thing.
Sure it is.
I knew one time I was reading about this director, I don't know, it was Michael Curtiz or Raoul Walsh, and he had 3 criterion that he would judge people on. They walked into his office. Number 1, obviously you had to have some compatibility with the character. 2, you didn't pose. You know how some Hollywood actors pose?
Yeah.
And the 3rd one was they reminded him of somebody he knew when he was a kid.
Yeah.
The guys he grew up with.
Right.
That's how he cast the show.
That's what he cast.
Casting the magic thing.
It is.
That's one thing my daughter is very, very good at casting. The first show she wanted to lead was a kid. She didn't want an actress. She wanted a natural kid. They went all over the United States to find a natural kid. And the kid turned out to be a star. The series was a hit, and then the next thing she was off and running.
Yeah.
Never did acting before. No.
Yeah, casting.
Dan, he once said it's 3. He said it 1/3 in the casting, 1/3 in the shooting, 1/3 in the editing.
Yeah.
How about the writing? How about these
Oh
guys?
yeah, the writing, but they
forget
take
all
that for
about the writing.
granted.
Yeah, they take that for granted.
Yeah,
Amazing.
they just found a script in the trash bin, turned it into
I
a
wrote
movie.
for a lot of comics, and comics didn't want you around once they had the routine.
Oh,
They wanted
no
you
kidding.
on. They
Yeah,
see you
God.
walked in and they're doing the routine. Oh my God, they'll know it's not. I didn't do it. And
It's a director's vision.
they're taking bows for how they wrote it and how they got the idea,
Oh,
the stories.
yeah, that's right. How brilliant they are.
And one day I sold the routine to a comic who didn't come up with the money. And so it really wasn't his routine. And I went into a hotel in Lakewood. He was in the middle of the routine, doing the routine. He says, "Oh, I hope that's Don Sherman." I said, "That's who it is. You shouldn't do that." And we had a long discussion right in front of the audience. It was really interesting.
But comics steal from each other, don't they? They're always.
Everybody will lift something that they think will help their
Oh, of course. Yeah.
career. Actors steal stars. How many actors sound just like Brando if Brando was around? Every actor was doing that same technique, same way of working. And you can't blame them. What works, works.
I was at the Metropolitan years ago in the 60s, and I saw Paul Newman looking at a painting, and then 2 people come up to Newman. I was about from here to that tree, and I heard the woman say to him, "Are you Marlon Brando or Paul Newman?"
That's terrible.
But you go for it, right? You get in there and you go for it.
I was assaulted by the paparazzi once coming out the wrong door of an airport. The star was right back of me. And I saw 50 reporters come with flanking cameras right toward me like an army. It was frightening.
It was like Marilyn Monroe landing at Idlewild, all those flash bulbs
God,
going off.
Those poor people, you know.
You know where that word came from, paparazzi?
No.
It came from, remember the movie La Dolce Vita?
Yeah.
See,
There was a guy in there named Paparazzo, something like that.
Paparazzo.
He was the guy that,
Yeah.
Anita Ekberg. God, what a...
Marcello Mastroianni.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Marcello.
I love Marcello
Yeah.
Mastroianni.
Yeah, he was great.
I love that. No one's making those kind of movies anymore.
Absolutely not.
Like 8.5 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, things have changed. I remember seeing La Dolce Vita at a college town in Nebraska. It was the first time I saw a movie with ellipsis, right? You know, I'm so used to, at that time, American movies telling the story 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, linear.
Yeah, and all of a sudden there were spaces. You didn't know what was going on. You had to put it all together.
I don't know what's going on in after the American.
No?
No, I really don't.
You know.
And I always fault the director for that. If the director if I can't understand any part of that film, it's the director's fault. If he can't articulate that message, then it's his fault, not mine.
It's not your fault?
No. Except when someone like you watches a film, it's a whole different thing. Man knows what kind of light bulbs they're using.
Well, that's your movie
I love movies.
experience, you know.
Fanatic.
What? We're getting toward the end, and usually David asks this question.
What's that?
Yeah, I do ask the question.
I'll let him ask it.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question. What's the word today? Because it's Don's choice.
It's my choice.
Yeah, you know, we always sign off with
Espresso.
Express.
That's where we are. Espresso.
Espresso.
Mark's You know what's the funny thing is the first place we're in a restaurant and working across the street from an old version of the restaurant.
Yeah, isn't that something?
As a matter of fact, the name of the restaurant is facing us across the street.
It's been that way actually for about 5 years.
Isn't that a terrible
Yeah.
story? Marco had a wonderful restaurant across the street.
I used to go there.
Walgreens came in and was going to buy it and convert it. And he had to move out of that, move across the street, open up a new place, and then that deal fell through.
And today is
Yeah.
Gloria's first day, right here.
Gloria's
the famous waitress.
So, too bad she isn't around. We should get a picture of her.
And this was a coffee shop. Just coffee.
This was a coffee.
That's right, just coffee. It wasn't like a food place. It
A
was-
nice place. Marco's here, right off Santa Monica Boulevard, right across the street from the late, great Silver Spoon.
And if you come down here any day of the week, you'll see us.
And the closing word is what? Espresso. Espresso.
Espresso.
Expected you to join in. What is
Yeah,
your sense of-
espresso. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
And we'll
Don.
see you again next week.
Thank you, folks. If there's anybody out there watching, please, somebody, one person, God